because it's better to start a live chat off with the cough before anyone gets here than be rude and cough in public. First sip of beer. Haven't had one in, gosh, a couple months since I drank a beer. Which I don't drink much anymore. I used to drink. Between me and my ex, it was at least a 30 pack a night. I just got tired of drinking, and she didn't, so we kind of went our separate ways. Tell you what, I've saved a whole lot of money without her. She just wouldn't work, wouldn't get a job, wouldn't do nothing except drink. She was good at that. She could have got a job at Budweiser factory taste testing. She'd have been perfect for that job. Oh, fine. Had a cold about 2 weeks ago, and I'm still coughing stuff up. These damn things right here, they will kill you. They're trying to kill me now. I put up 2 reminders today about the live stream, and let's see how many people show up. I've got a few regulars, and I'm pretty sure at least 1 or 2 of them will pop in. Hopefully some new faces. I enjoy talking about gardening and everything under the sun. Basically, I just like to talk. I don't want to be around people. I just want to talk to people. I probably should have went into radio. Would have been a good job for me. Talk to people, but not have to be with people. Soundproof booth, microphone, say what you want to. Don't have to deal with anybody. Other than fast food, where I can't do drive-through, I can do the front counter, no problem. 27 years I've been this way. I hate drive-through. See, because when they walk through those doors and they come into the store and they face you, they can look in your eyes and they can tell right off the bat, hey, this guy knows I'm a stupid ass. And I'm going to order something that's totally ass, not even on the damn menu. Because I don't even know what damn restaurant I'm in. Order a Big Mac at Hardee's. Stupid people. But see, the problem comes in drive-through. These people have no idea you know that they are stupid as insert expletive here until they've actually driven around the building and you're already pissed off. And then they smile at you. And the last thing I want is for some dumbass that's stupid as hell to piss me off trying to order. And then when they get to the window, smile at me like they're doing me a favor by being there. Pisses me off. Cannot stand it. Up the wall I go. Whenever I had to work the overnight graveyard shift a few years back, and I told them this time around when I went back, I'm not doing overnight. I'm just not. 10 p.m. is as late as I'm going to work. Period. Amen. And I'm not getting up until 4:30 in the morning to be there for the breakfast shift neither. The earliest I will work is 6. Sorry. That's it. Other than that, I'm fine. And I don't run shifts anymore. My body won't let me. My back hurts. It kills me through the day. I run stores, not shifts. So figure out how you want to use me and pay me for my 27 years of experience. Don't insult me with $8 an hour. I was making $10 an hour in 1994 doing the same job. So don't insult me with 75 cents over minimum wage whenever I was making more than twice minimum wage back then. You want to impress me? Give me $15 an hour. You've impressed me. You still ain't paying me what I'm worth, but you've impressed me. needless to say, it's been an interesting week. And I don't do overnights anymore because I was about to tell you, one of the other managers that would put us together on night shift, a black guy, and every time I'd walk in, and he knew I had to do the drive-through, and he was in the back, he would go ahead and hand me his Xanax and say, "Here, you're going to need this. You're on drive-through." I said, "All right, if I'm on drive-through, you do the deposit. I'm not. And don't you ever tell me that drawer come up short, because it's always going to be over or exactly to the penny, I promise you. Because I know how to run a register." Irritates the hell out of me when I see people give me my change out of the cash drawer and they start by grabbing quarters first, because they don't know how to count backwards. The total's $3.97. What's my change back? $3.97. 98 and 9, 4, 3 pennies makes $4, and then a dollar bill makes $5. How hard is it to count backwards? They got to look at a computer screen to tell them how much money to give me back, and I already got to figure in my head exactly how many coins of each type I'm getting back, and how many bills and which ones. New math in schools, pure craziness. But 7 minutes into it, I'm just talking to myself. So it'll go into a playlist. I'm not worried about it. One day somebody will watch it. I bombed the hell out of that biology test today. I think I got about half of them right. I might be a fun guy, but I don't know anything about fungi. If it don't come from the grocery store and I know I can eat it, I don't need to be learning about it. Hey, Mimsy. I was just griping about how the day's biology test went. I think I bombed the crap out of it. Because I may be a fun guy, but I don't know a whole lot about fungi. Unless I buy that mushroom at the store, I don't bother with it. I understand how it works in gardens and stuff like that, but as far as getting me to be able to draw you a picture of the way it reproduces sexually and asexually and all the little pieces and parts and thereof, forget it. I don't need to know that crap anyway. Master gardener class would be fun and a whole lot more interesting than general biology at the college level, because at least in a master gardener's class, it's all practical knowledge that you can actually put to use and get your hands on. I mean, we debate over whether or not a virus is alive in my classes. Well, it's not a complete cell, and it doesn't have a cell wall or a nucleus, so it can't be alive. Yeah, but doesn't it self-replicate? Doesn't it reproduce? Reproduction is a qualification for the basis of all living forms of life, so it's alive. Otherwise, it wouldn't hurt you and multiply inside you, but it does. That's the kind of BS I got to put up with. Anatomy, loved it. The upper level biologies, I loved. I'm taking epidemiology right now. Cool as crap. Microbiology, I loved it. I love all the upper level biologies. It's been 25 years since I took the first couple biologies, and everything is completely different now. I mean, now they got 3 domains instead of just 5 kingdoms. Now they got domains. I mean, everything has changed. The stuff that was a theory back then is in the book now. Right now, I'm in a biology program because it's the only classes at the small college in the next town over that I haven't taken, because I've already got an associate's degree in chemistry from there, and I can't get another associate's degree, and I've already taken every history class they have. I got a bachelor's in history, and I'm just boosting my GPA up so that I can get into graduate school so I can get a master's in history and teach college. So I'm pretty much majoring in everything: associate in chemistry, a BA in history, and now I'm going for biology and getting a master's in history. I mean, I'll know a little bit about everything and a whole lot about nothing. But they won't let me take ecology because I didn't take their vertebrate zoology class, because the instructor is a complete fucking moron. If you mention the word bird in his class, that's it. Lecture over. We're talking about birds for the rest of the day. This dude is a nut when it comes to birds. And he doesn't know how to teach. He's off the wall, goofy anyhow. I couldn't handle him. I had to drop him. And they won't let me take ecology until I take that course. But yet I've already had ecology at another college, but they didn't transfer the credit, which it was a C then, because that was back in my younger years when I partied too much. Transfer the C. I don't care. I'll take the C. It counts. Well, that's like me. I've got a 4 year in history and an associate in chemistry, and I've managed restaurants for 27 years. See, I went to college from 89, fall of 89 to spring of 94. And then I went back and finished my degree in '04, and now I'm back again. So I do take breaks from school. I take 10-year breaks. So about every 10 years, I go back to school. Yeah. I remember a few years back when I was in college, I had a lady at one of the offices ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I mean, I'd already voted for president by then. It's like, what do you mean when I grow up? I vote, I pay taxes, I got a job, I am grown. But yeah, it's been a heck of a day. I went and picked up my paycheck. They still haven't gotten the schedule ready, and it's supposed to be up on Fridays. And today is Monday, the last day of the schedule, and she didn't have me working tomorrow, so I'm not even going to bother finding out because she was going to text me the schedule when she got it done. I hadn't gotten a text from her. At least I don't think I have. I've been outside this afternoon a couple times. I don't get phone reception in my house because of the tin roof. But I have been outside. My phone's going outside with me, and I haven't heard a text go off. So I'll go outside one more time later tonight and see if I got any text where she actually texts me and tells me what my schedule is. But she's not going to give me many hours because she's already found out from the district manager how good I am. Because the district manager bragged on me and said I was just like her, except I didn't have boobs and I didn't put up with shit from employees. My eulogy is going to be short and sweet. He did what the fuck he wanted to do. End of story. If he didn't like it, he did something else. That's all I want to do is get to the point where I've got my bills paid, my home paid for, and all I've got to worry about paying my power bill, my car insurance, and any other incidentals I have. And fuck it, I'll stay home and garden all the time because I don't need a damn grocery store. I got animals outside I can eat. I got plants outside I can eat. I ain't worried about a grocery store. The only thing I might need a grocery store for is staples like flour and sugar and commodities I can't produce on my own because I don't have enough space. But other than that, I don't need it. I got enough potatoes now that I'll be giving potatoes away and I'll have enough put up for a whole year. And tomorrow I've got a friend of mine who's moving her tiny house over here because a bunch of trouble. She started dating a guy because she didn't want to date me because her mom hates me. And then come to find out her mom hated this guy too because she went to school with him too. She's like 28, but she likes guys my age. Me and her have been really close for about 5 years now. And this dude he's in a biker gang and he got arrested for some kind of bullshit. Her tiny house, which was her storage shed, was on their property, so she had to have it moved. It's like, well, you can bring it over here and put it in my backyard till you get it fixed up while you're looking for a piece of property that you can afford. I don't know about my tomatoes and peppers. Other night, 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard a crash. Cell Kitty had done knocked over the tray that had all of my peppers or all of my tomatoes that had sprouted. I had over 30, I had close to 40 sprouted already. Knocked them over. They're all over the place. I have no idea what kind of tomato is in which freaking cup now. So I won't know if the one that's labeled Cherokee purple is Cherokee purple until it puts a tomato on. It could be one of the green sausage tomatoes. I don't know. Thank God I've got more Cherokee purple seeds so I can actually plant some and have them planted separate and keep seed that's pure. But he didn't sail that night. He flew. Because I picked his ass up after I chased him because he knew to run, and I flung his ass out the damn front door. He hit something on the way down to the ground. I don't know what it was, and he hit it kind of hard too. Oh, I was. 4 o'clock in the morning, here I am repotting tomato plants that aren't this damn tall. Oh, I was mad as hell. And I went to school with the guy that she's seeing, and he's out on bond. He's facing prison time because he was in possession of a firearm during commission of a crime. And he's already got a felony on his record. Granted, that felony was only because he was caught driving on a suspended license 3 times, which the third time became a felony instead of a misdemeanor. But it still ain't looking good. Hey, Virginia. But I told her that if it didn't work out with her and him, she could just leave the thing here and live in it here because within a month or two she'll be in the house anyway. It's no big deal. But I don't have a problem with her putting it here and him coming over to fix it up and get it ready to put somewhere, as long as it's temporary, because unless it's just her. I don't want no him and her. Dang, I ain't gonna have a neighbor that damn close to me, especially one that I don't particularly care for because I know they're trouble to begin with. And he might be a good person, but trouble does seem to follow him around. Okay, Virginia. That's exactly what I'm doing with my tomatoes now. I'm just letting them dry. I won't know what the hell's what. The only thing that he knocked over that hadn't sprouted that I will know definitely what it is are the artichokes. I'll know, hey, that's not a tomato. It's got to be an artichoke. Other than that, I don't know what's what. And I'm down about half my tomatoes because they broke. And I was hoping maybe they would actually root from the stem and just keep growing. So I planted them up to the broke point, but no, they died. But she's already told that guy that those bikers better not ride by this house. And she's already warned that club, don't try to follow me, don't try to find me, because if you do, all I got to do is pick up the phone, and there's a guy that doesn't have a patch on his back, doesn't own a motorcycle, and it will be very embarrassing for the entire club to be wiped out by one guy because they think he was bad barricading himself in a little tiny shed and had a gun. Morgan ain't got a gun. Morgan's got a gun in every room plus an extra, and he don't run out of ammunition. It's like I told her, you see a bike following you home from work, you call me. Tell me which way you're heading because I'll be coming at you from the opposite direction. And once I pass you, guy on a motorcycle, I'll shoot his damn tire out. No evidence of a gunshot there. He just had a bad accident and real sudden case of road rash. Oh, I'm not worried about seeding anymore for a late harvest. I grow indeterminates. I'll just take cuttings and root whatever else I need. That way I'll have a head start. Oh, you're back, Virginia. Work's a pain in the ass. I knew it would be. I still got to find time to sit down with the district manager because she knows me, and I'm gonna tell her, look, I'm not gonna take the job and do this unless you pay me this much money, and these are the days and the times that I'm gonna work, and this is what I'm gonna do because I'm physically not able to run a shift anymore. But I can run a store. I don't have to get up and move around and be on the go to run a store. I can sit there and I can order, I can schedule, I can do everything to keep the store running. I can make cleaning lists. I know how to operate a store. But as far as working a position for 8 hours, no, can't do it. I can't stay 8 hours on my feet without being in tremendous pain. So that's not going to happen. And it's going to be more like you're going to make me co-manager and I'm going to work like 5, 6 hours a day. And the other co-manager can handle the money because I don't want to be associated with that bullshit no more. She can run the shifts. I'll do all the rest of the paperwork. I'll make sure everything runs the way it's supposed to. I'll train the new people and I'll make sure everything's done by the book. Other than that, if you don't want to do my demands, then leave me at 4 hours a day, 20 hours a week. I'm good because they need me more than I need them. And I can go get a fast food job damn near anywhere. because I've worked with almost every company in Southeast Georgia. So they all know me and they all know my track record. Every store I've worked at has always gone up in sales and they've always done well on their corporate inspections and stuff. So they know how I operate. If I could just get rid of that last little bit of cold I had from last week in my lungs, I'd be all right. And give these damn things up. Worst habit I ever picked up other than women. But I'd rather pick up a bad habit with women than a bad habit with men because that would make me a cocksucker, and I wouldn't want somebody to call me a cocksucker. And I can't get out and do anything in the garden, and I'm off tomorrow because it's too wet. Got an inch of rain, so it's all mush. It was just starting to dry out nice too. Just starting to be enough moisture in the soil for things to come up without having to water for days and days. And then here comes an inch of rain. But it'll dry out in about a month because they're expecting more rain later this week. As long as it dries out by the middle of March, I'm okay because the middle of March I'm planting corn. Then at the first of April, I'm planting my green beans because I grow the half runners. That way they can use the corn as a trellis and I ain't got to put a trellis up. Hey, what kind of meds are they? I might want you to mail me some. I'll take Xanax and Dilaudid if you got it. Valium I'll accept, but Valium really ain't worth a shit. It only works for about 10 minutes and then my nerves are shot again and it's right back to being pissed off. At least with Xanax, that'll keep me calm for a couple hours. Maybe I should do what they used to do in the movies. Try Valium with vodka. But yeah, Mimsy, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. One coming in, one going out. No, I don't need gastric meds. I've got gastric meds in the oven right now. I'll fill that gastric void whenever it's done in an hour or two. Nice baked chicken and a big old sweet potato my dad grew. That's a good supper for me. Although I've got to stop being lazy. I live in Georgia. I'm supposed to fry my chicken, not bake it. I need to fry some chicken once in a while. You know, fried foods are healthy for Southern people. Google local guides. You could join this year's big event in California. No, I don't think so. Google. Thanks for the offer, though. And delete. I'm not going to California for Google. Yeah, but I'm Southern. I'm supposed to eat fried foods. It's a major food group in the South. I mean, we fry corn, we fry okra, we fry tomatoes, we fry chicken, we fry pork chops, we fry everything. But I bake more meat than I do frying it. But I'm really looking forward to that sweet potato with a big old hunk of real butter on it, not that margarine crap that they say at the store. I can't believe it's not butter. I can believe it ain't butter. It don't taste like butter. And all I buy is real butter. One day I hope I've got enough room where I can actually have a old milk cow. I'd like to have an old Guernsey, high in butter fat, make that sweet, just clog your arteries up butter. You are exactly right. And that's why I don't buy margarine. Now, if I had access to all the lard that I wanted that I could make myself and render, I would only use that to fry in. But it's hard to get enough pork fat to do your own unless you raise hogs. And I only have one hog and I haven't bred her yet. So it'll be a while before I can do my own homemade lard. The stuff at the store has been hydrogenated, but I still use it. And that's what I fry in. Other than that, I will use vegetable oil, but I'd rather use lard. It tastes better anyway. And as far as it goes, I don't think there's a nickel's worth of difference between that. It's been hydrogenated lard and vegetable oil. I don't think there's a nickel's worth of difference in it health wise. But I think that the pure lard you render out yourself from fat is healthier. I'm not big on processed foods at all. Why would you throw away the drippings from bacon? Shoot, at work, the bacon they use, it's not sugar cured and it comes pre cooked and they put it up under a heat source with a pan to catch the oil as it drips. I've been known to sit there whenever the pan gets full and I'll go get a coffee cup and I'll pour that in there and they're like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking this shit home to me. I cook greens and stuff and sometimes I ain't got enough bacon drippings of my own. I'm taking this shit home." And they think I'm crazy. That and I use that to season my cast iron pans with too. My mom cooks bacon every morning for her and my dad's breakfast, and she saves all the bacon drippings for me. I've got bacon drippings in pint plastic containers in the refrigerator or in the freezer now, so that whenever I do cast iron, I've got plenty. I've probably got half a gallon or to a gallon or so of bacon drippings frozen in the freezer. Yes, they do. And that's how I do it. I cook my bacon first, then I cook my eggs. And I make a bowl of grits, and the eggs go in the grits, fat and all, whatever's left. Stir it all up together. The sunny side up eggs makes its own gravy whenever you got grits. That's just as good as sausage gravy, if not better. But there's not much food waste around my house. And what little there is, sometimes I can't decide whether to give it to the chickens or give it to the pigs. And all these people on the cast iron websites and stuff like that are talking about using crispy and black seed oil and grape seed oil. What the hell's wrong with lard? It's worked for hundreds of years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Black seed oil, yeah, it'll make your pan nice and shiny and black, but hell, it flakes off because it's so damn hard that one accidental whack with a spoon and it's cracked and broke off, and then you got a piece of unseasoned iron on top of everything else, and you got to just strip the whole damn thing down and start over. Hey, Jim. Oh, well, it don't get wasted. It goes to an animal. There's just not much of it that goes to an animal. I just don't have much kitchen waste at all. Mainly like potato peels that you're not supposed to feed chickens, but I do any. Well, I give them to the hogs now, but I fed them to the chickens. They say don't give chickens onions and garlic because it'll make the eggs taste funny. Mine never do. They get those cucumber peels, stuff like that. But there's very little leftovers. I cook only enough for me, and that's it, or whoever I've got that I'm cooking for that's coming over or whatever. I mean, I cook just enough. There's very little leftovers. I've got my little fan club here, but yet some chick named Natalie with Hey It's a Good Life can start a channel. And just because she's young and got a pretty face, she's already got damn near 1,000 followers. It has a live stream, and in 10 minutes, there's 50 people show up, all because Roots and Refuge mentioned their name. It disgusts me that people can't, they judge you on how you look and your age compared to your knowledge and what you can actually teach them. But then again, that's the world we live in. If we can't judge our neighbor, who the hell can we judge, right? You guys are in for a treat because it's a rare opportunity that I drink beer, so it might get funny after a little while. Just be glad I ain't smoking a joint, or else we'd all be on the floor peeing on ourselves laughing by now. Hello, Jim. I wonder if Jim Beer is a better name than Jim Beam. I like Jim Beam too. And the green label Evan Williams. The 100 proof is a whole lot better than the 80 proof, not because it's got more alcohol. It's just a smoother flavor. Oh, Mimsy's sweet. She had to go, but apparently she left the live stream running. That was nice of her. Get the watch time. I need to set up a couple more email accounts with or Google accounts and other names and just every day switch out to a different account while I'm gone and just let it run. Play all my videos myself because I've got two other Google accounts and I finally remembered the password and I've been doing that for the last week or two and my watch time's been shooting up there and now I'm starting to get views from lots of other people, but none of them are subscribing. I'm still stuck at 124. Yet the mess hall's got 200 and something. And he started right around the same time I did, and I had twice as many as him. Now he's got twice as many. He's got 100 more than I do. Which he's an okay fella. He doesn't know a whole lot about gardening, I don't think, but he's a good guy. I can't really say anything bad about him. He's trying, and I guess as long as you're trying, that's all that matters. Once you give up trying, life is over. Yeah, I do need to get out there with the goats a little more often. People like the goats. Matter of fact, Billy was out this afternoon. Her and her little partner in crime, Pam. Poor old Paula, she ain't gonna she's not gonna brave the fence. She don't like to get shot by the fence, but Billy and Pam will take it. Billy's got thick fur anyway, so it probably don't hit her. I've only got half a jewel. I need to spend about $250 and get that 100-mile charger that's got a whole jewel and a half. Let that hit her one time. She'll stop then. She won't get within 5 foot of it because I made the mistake of touching my dad's 100-mile charger with a wet paintbrush. It dropped me to my knees and I almost peed all over myself. I'm talking about standing straight up, went down on my knees, and I sat there for a minute and I regained my thoughts. And I pulled my cigarettes out and I smoked a cigarette. Then I tried to stand up because it hurt. I believe that's the worst I've ever been hit by an electric fence. And I've been around them my whole life and been shot many times. But that one, it popped the hell out of me. And my dad used to be mean. He'd put it around the garden to keep the deer out. And he would cut strips of aluminum foil, put peanut butter on the end, and then wrap them across the fence. And the deer would go up there, and he'd sit there in the morning drinking his coffee, and he'd watch the old tongue just come out and wrap around that peanut butter. And once it wrapped around that fence, got him, he'd tear down 100 yards of fence trying to get away from it. And my dad would laugh like hell and didn't mind going out and putting the fence back up every day. He did that for about a month straight, and then he didn't have any more deer. They'd see the fence, he didn't even have to turn it on. They'd see the fence and wouldn't go near it because they'd remember that tongue getting hit whenever they'd reach out for that peanut butter. Maybe I need to do that with the goats. Get a good shock on that old tongue with some peanut butter, and they won't go near that fence. Then I ain't got to worry about trying to put them back in. Because the only reason why they get out is because they know that I'll get them back in if I carry the bucket with feed in it. Because I've tried carrying the empty bucket, and they know they're not stupid. There's nothing in that bucket. I'm not following you. Put something in the bucket, then I'll follow you. Maybe I would try it with water. That'd really piss them off, though. Get them in the pen, close the gate, then walk over there to the water trough and pour water in the trough. They'd really love me then. But I might have to try that peanut butter thing. Get them to where they'll stay away from that fence. Because that pig, it didn't take her but twice. I could probably fence her in with baling twine. I could probably fence her in with dental floss. If she sees something looks like an electric fence, she ain't going near it. She stuck that old rooter on it the first day she was here. And she ain't been bumped by it but about once more since then. And that was all it took. She don't get close to it. But I can't get that blame pig to eat a dead chicken or a dead hog or a dead hawk like other hogs. I can't get her to, if it's cooked, she'll eat it. If it's raw, she doesn't. Or at least not with the feathers on. I hadn't tried a raw piece of chicken. I need to do that. Because if this chick has these bikers and they've already followed her around and they find out that her stuff is here, even though she ain't living here, and I wind up having to shoot one, I need this pig to be able to eat a human body. Because the bike I can roll down in the pond and ain't nobody gonna find it. But I need that pig to be able to eat that body so that it's gone too. Maybe I need to call the coroner and say, hey, just cut me a couple fingers off somebody whenever they die. That way I can get my pig used to the taste of human flesh. Yeah, I had about 60. Now I'm down to about 40. Hawks have gotten a few, and then I've had the chickens go cannibalistic a couple times and eat one or two of their own in the night. So I took to feeding them in the afternoon before they go to roost, so that way they're full, and it's it hasn't stopped it completely. I had one they got the other night, but it's cut it down. I need to get one of those blocks that they can peck. It's basically one of them big old. It's a big old suet block with all the bird seed stuck in it, and put it in their coop so that way they've got something to peck on at night instead of each other. But hopefully by the end of next month, I won't have that many. They'll be big enough for me to butcher out. If I can get them to about 4.5 pounds dressed, most of them are going. I'm just going to keep a few for laying hens. That's the thing about it. None of them are bloody. They just pick one, and all of them gang up on it, and then they eat it. But they won't eat the hawk that I threw out there. Chickens and hogs usually will eat anything you put in the pen, but they don't eat a hawk either. So I got to put a rock around it and throw it in the pond. But I really ain't worried about that hawk out there in the chicken pen. It's dead. And anybody walks by, they just, so far, everybody that's seen it, they ain't realized it's a hawk. They just think it's a dead chicken. And it will rot faster there than anywhere else because of the bacteria. And it don't smell. So this time of year, it's nice and cool, no odor at all. I'm just going to let it rot right there because eventually all that'll get shoveled out and put in the garden, and he'll go right along with it as compost because I constantly throw hay over in it. So I'm giving them something to build more soil that I can take out. And that big old tree that you've seen in the middle of it, there was dirt all the way up around that thing, and I throw the feed up there around it. I'm getting them to where they'll dig it out so that whenever I get my hands on a chainsaw, I can cut that thing down at ground level Just section it off a little bit here and there and just whittle it down. And then eventually it'll be below ground level. They'll dig it out so much that when I cut it off, it'll actually be below the surface of the ground. They say animals act like their owners. And I've heard people say that I ain't right. So I guess I got the perfect animals for me. They ain't right neither. Everybody worries about cat tracks on their car, and I got to worry about goat prints on mine. The worst thing about it is all three goats can be out, but only one of them jumps on my car and does this little like fish jump out of water thing every time she jumps off of it. And I can never get it on film. I want to video it, and every time she does it, I never have my camera with me. Aggravates me because one day I'm gonna catch it because it's funny watching her do it. I wouldn't know if it's overrated or not because I've always just been me. I've never been like anybody else. When I was in high school, they'd all ride up and down the strip, as they called it. One section of highway only had one red light on that highway, and I would park in a parking lot by that red light, and I'd sit on the hood and I'd drink my beer there. And they all asked me, "How come you do that?" And I said, "Because you're stupid. I'm not. All you can see is the people in front of you and the people behind you. I see everybody. Who's the smart one? Me or you? I see everybody that's uptown. You only see the people in front of you and behind you. Plus, you're drinking and driving when the cops pull you over. I'm sitting in a parking lot on private property. They can't touch me. They've got to wait for me to quit drinking and go home before they can bother me. And by then, they've forgotten all about me. So, who was the smart one?" And then after I explained it, I started to see more people pull over in the parking lots. Then I started going out of town. I didn't want to be like them. We'd go find us an old cornfield. Me and a couple buddies, we'd rent a keg. We'd go out there. We'd just charge $5 a head, and we'd have 40 or 50 people show up. We had money left over after we bought the keg, and hey, it was a money making opportunity. You had a good time, and you got paid for it. Just be sure it's not too close to the farmer's house because you don't want to get run off with a shotgun in the middle of the night. Because toting a bucket of big old trash can of ice and water with a keg as fast as you can is not fun. It's a whole lot of work. But I've been tinkering with the idea of bootlegging because it's nothing for me to make it steel. And I've been thinking about making some good homebrew whiskey and starting to sell it to some folks, some black folks that I know. For $10, I could turn that $10 into about 200 with some good 150, 160 proof whiskey. Yeah, only cost me about $10. And the worst part is the ingredients are what I feed my animals: sweet feed and cracked corn. The molasses and the grains in that sweet feed, let it ferment for a few days, then throw that in the still, distill it out, Man, you can drive your car on it. I'm talking about it's at least 140 proof whenever it comes out. And it wouldn't take me anything if I went and bought a pressure canner just to make a steel and some copper tubing for less than $200. I could set up a steel that would hold 5 gallons of mash, and it would produce probably 1 3/4 to 2 gallons of good 140 or better proof whiskey. And then if I distilled it once, it double distilled it, I could probably get it close to golden grain, which is 190 proof. 200 proof is pure alcohol. I could probably get it to 190 to 195 proof. And if I do like the real moonshiners and run it through a thumper, which is basically take your alcohol steam and run it into a container that's already got alcohol in it, but use flavored alcohol and fruit in that. That way, the final product has got a flavor to it. Yeah, I could make a lot of money doing that. I could get a lot of jail time for getting caught doing that, but I could make a lot of money doing that. Huh. I never noticed till just now that the camera on my laptop is just like taking a selfie with my cell phone. You'd think it'd be front facing. It's not, or at least not to me, it isn't. For you guys, the words might be right, but for me, they're backwards. Man, I must be like some kind of sitcom to you guys. Y'all just sit there and listen to me, and all I do is ramble on. 9:55 was the last time Virginia said anything. That was 6 minutes ago. Ain't nobody said anything in 6 minutes but me. Oh, but I love you guys for showing up. I might not get 500 like Jess from Roots and Refuge, but hey, I've got dedicated people that like me. And to me, that's worth a whole lot more. That's like Kayla bringing her stuff to my house. I got bags of clothes in one bedroom that's in plastic bags simply because they got tear gas all over them. They shot 8 canisters of tear gas into that place to get him to come out. There was a hole in the PVC pipe through it and was breathing through that. He wasn't coming out. But she's just as loyal to me as I am to her. So that's what friendship's all about. There's been times when I've needed money and she's just freely loaned it to me, and there's been times when she's needed money, I've loaned it to her, and she's one of two people I would ever loan money to, and I wouldn't loan money to any damn body else because I know she'll pay me back just like the other one would. Then it must just be my screen. I don't know because it is completely backwards. That's on the right side instead of the left side. See, and I just pointed backwards for you. Well, at least I know it's front facing for everybody else but me. It's probably just because it's the live stream on my computer. Oh, there's my little African cichlid. It's out, not hiding in the rocks. Some of my favorite fish. This fish hasn't grown at all since I got it, and it's a pretty blue color. But the other one's almost doubled in size, and it's a yellowish orange. Really cool. I want to get some more, but they don't cost $4 a piece like they used to. They're like $10 a piece, and you get one that's that like that long on your little finger for $10. And they're so hard to tell which species or which because the males can be one color and the females are a different color. So you think it's two different fish, and really it's the same breed. Because I'd like to start breeding them. Oh, it's on my laptop. That's why I was asking, was it backwards for you guys? Because it's backwards on my screen, but you guys are seeing it normal. Because I figured being it's the webcam on my laptop, it should be front facing, and I should be able to read whatever is up there. But I guess it's because it's my screen, it shows up backwards. And with all my hand waving and stuff, you think I could actually do this and drink beer with a phone? I'd be gotten so confused. I'd be doing this with my phone, and then I'd have been mad at myself for being stupid on camera because I was trying to drink my phone. But I figured I'd try drinking on a live stream. Josh from the City Stead did his first one the other night from a hotel room, and he was drinking. Maybe it's because he was drinking Angry Orchard, and he had like 50, 60 people in the room on his first chat, which he's already outgrown me too because he was mentioned by Roots and Refuge. But I figured, hey, if I drink a beer, maybe some more people will show up and join us, but I guess not. But I still have fun talking with you guys. Man, I ain't buying no tripod to hold the phone. I'll stack up beer cans until I got enough that I can just prop the phone up. No, wait a minute. It take me a hell of a damn long time to drink that much beer. I can't drink like I used to. I won't even finish this 6 pack I got tonight. No way in hell I can. It'd probably take me 6 months to drink enough beer to make a tower that I could prop my phone up on and let it hold it. But there ain't no way I'm buying a tripod for a cell phone. And people walking around with them selfie sticks, that's bad enough. And I could see me going to the HOA and all the folks walking around with their video cameras and they got them on them funky little tripods, which now that I'll be honest with you, that would be cool to have and handy. But I'd laugh like hell at them. Like, do you know how much of a damn fool you look like walking around with that shit? Man, video something besides yourself. You can voice over when you edit. I like the way you think. You got me on that one. I get the reason why you put that up there. I kind of read between the lines because I know you didn't mean bottle. That damn autocorrect will get your ass. You got auto-corrected. Your phone knew what you wanted to say before you did. And I hate that because my phone thinks it knows what I want to say more than I do. Well, there's another ashtray. You know, the worst part about it is I've got 3 or 4 because I think you're the one that commented about the cast iron hanging on my wall. I've got 3 or 4 cast iron ashtrays and I don't use them. One simple reason: I recycle. And I figure if I'm going to have the bad habit of smoking, that I may as well throw them in a can and get paid for those cigarette butts. And I do. I bet you every time I carry off aluminum cans, I bet there's probably 4 pounds of cigarette butts in all those cans. Because when I carry them off, I carry off a whole bunch of cans at once. And if I know the can's got cigarette butts in it, I'll pour a little bit of water to where they all swell up and you don't hear the cigarette butts move around, because then they'll get on your ass about that. So I make sure you can't hear the cigarette butts moving around, and that just adds weight because water weighs 8.5 pounds to 8.5 to 9 pounds per gallon. So if I put in 2 quarts of water in all those cans that's got cigarette butts, I mean, hell, I've just added 4 pounds, and at 30 cents a pound, I've just bought myself another beer or 3 cans of Coke at the Coke machine uptown because they're 50 cents a piece there. Be right back. Yeah, now that I've got this chick bringing her tiny house over to work on and make livable and expanding my chicken run, I've got my cast iron that's rusty outside, and I've got to start finishing it because I've got about 10 or 15 more American made pieces to do, and I've got 6 or 7 Asian made ones that I'll just redo and either give away as gifts or sell them for like $10, $15 a piece, cheap as hell. Because I'm not keeping no damn made in Korea. I got one that's made in Korea, and I got a couple of them that are made in China. And I'm not eating out of those things because they melt down engine blocks for the iron to make those cast iron skillets. And there is lead in engine blocks. And I'm not eating lead. I'm sorry. Not happening. But I got about 15 more minutes before the oven goes off. Then all I got to do is turn it off, and in about an hour, it'll be just perfect temperature to eat. And then I'll be all fat and lazy right about midnight and be ready to put this thing on one of the other accounts that I have and let it play all night. But I need to make up a couple more accounts. That way it's not the same two over and over and YouTube catch on. If I got about 5 accounts and I switch through them and alternate days with them, they'll eventually catch on. But by then it'll probably be too late and I'll be monetized. I hope. Then again, I'm not handsome and I ain't young and pretty with a charming girl's voice and beautiful hair that's flowing that could be in a shampoo commercial and a smile for tooth. Well, pretty soon I'll have a smile for toothpaste because the 16th, after I got in that car accident and broke my back and the airbag cracked all my front teeth, and I'm finally on the 16th getting the dental work done that I need. That way I'll be able to smile and actually not embarrass myself or anyone I'm with in public. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm dreading it because it's going to be done under local. I'd rather them knock me out under general anesthesia, but they do it under local, and it's going to be from like 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 3 or 4 that I'm laying there wide awake while they're cutting teeth out and fitting me with dentures for the ones they take out, and then whatever I got left, you better damn well believe I brushed the hell out of them because I ain't doing this again. And I've got to get some more seed starting mix because after the cat dumped over all my trays, the dirt that was left on the floor, I didn't know if there were seeds in it or not. So I put it back in the bucket of mix that I had, and I'm keeping it moist to see if something sprouts. And so far, nothing sprouted. Oh man, I've had a rough few days. And this is Sale Kitty. I'm still mad at him about dumping my plants over. And he knows it, yet he was brave enough to jump up on the chair just now. He ain't stupid. He knows. And the only reason why he's in the house tonight is because they're predicting it to get down to 30, and I'm just being nice. Because right now it is 44 degrees, and they're predicting it to get down to about 31, 30, somewhere in there. So I'm just being nice to him. Doesn't mean I gotta like him. I'm still mad at him. Dump my mater plants over again, you little bastard. Earn yourself another trip out the front door and hit something on the way to the ground. You didn't hear that. What happened to Jim? Jim usually talks. I'm not even showing Jim on participants, just you and Mimsy. She left hers running. The shelter here, um, I don't like them. They're part of the Humane Society of the United States, and I don't agree with their philosophy. They're anti-gun, anti-hunting, anti-eating meat. They're part of PETA, and I don't support them at all. And I could probably drive him to a neighborhood by the lake in town where it's all ritzy and drop him off, and he'd have a home in 15, 20 minutes. But it's starting to warm up. He's going to learn to be an outside cat because he's not fixed. If I get him fixed, because I know eventually he'll calm down. So I'm really not worried about him. A few more months, he'll calm down some more. It's just whether or not I can get him fixed as to whether or not he's an inside cat or an outside cat. The first time he sprays in the house, oh, you out the door permanently then. You eat with the chickens, you sleep with the chickens. Because you ain't coming in here with me because you stink because you pee on things and you ain't marking your territory in my house. Any marking done in here is going to be by me and my penis, not you and yours. And my mama taught me not to pee on furniture. I'm sorry, that's just the way it goes. You pee on furniture, you live outside. So unless I can afford to get him fixed in the next couple months, he stays outside after he starts doing that. But then again, I need an outside cat because my other cat, he's fixed and he comes in and out. And he's older, so whenever it's cold like tonight, I definitely don't leave him out. Even though he does go curl up in a bale of hay and make himself a nice warm nest, but I'm not gonna leave him out. This one's younger. He can tolerate it a little bit more. I don't know. Now I'm showing 3. Maybe Jim came back. My participants doesn't have him, but there's 3 on my screen, so somebody's here. Maybe they'll say something soon because it's always nice to talk to folks. Me and Jim, we've had some good conversations. I like him. He's a pretty cool guy. Been in the Navy, done a lot of interesting stuff with his military career. Been all over. I mean, he's seen places. I mean, he's really cool to talk to. See, I was showing 2 on my screen, and it had Mimsy and you, and then of course me. But now I'm showing 3, and whenever I go there, it just has you and Mimsy. I guess you got to be in the chat room or in the live stream so long, or either make a comment before it puts you as a participant. I'm not really sure how the live stream works, but one day I'll learn it all. I'm still new at it. I'm not really in a hurry. Like I've said before, I'm not going to retire off YouTube money. That's for damn sure. I just want to get to the point that I can afford a hamburger or a Coke or something off of it. Maybe pay my internet or my cable bill or something. Well, I ain't got cable. I ain't had cable in 25 years. But, maybe make a phone payment or internet payment. If I make $100 a month, I'll consider myself very blessed. But I don't see that happening for a very long time. You should. What can it hurt? I mean, videotape what you like doing, put it up. You might be like me and fall behind because we're not young and pretty that could be in commercials and stuff like that. But look at Danny and Wanda got lucky. But I can tell you something. They haven't grown the way the other young people have. But the young people don't have the knowledge that Danny and Wanda does or that we do. They're flying by the seat of their pants. The youngest 2 that have any damn sense are Al Lumna and Justin Rose. The rest of them, Jess and Maya at Roots and Refuge, they're flying by the seat of their pants. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're learning as they go. Al and Justin and Danny and Wanda. Danny and Wanda, that's the way they grew up. Same way I did. Justin's dad, I think, was a farmer. So he kind of grew up this way. Al, I have no idea about his family history. Yeah, they only make payouts in increments of hundreds. If you ain't got at least $100, you don't get nothing until you get to that point, and then they pay you. So if you've got $25 worth of revenue this month, and it takes you 20, and you get $25 a month, 4 months from now, you get $100 check in the mail, or however they do it. It's not like you're going to lose money. It just takes longer to get paid. That's all. You're very true. They always fly by the seat and will tell you in a heartbeat, this is the way it holds some roots. She's a master gardener. She's got certificates in this, that, or the other. Yeah. Put your production by my production and see who comes out on top. I don't care what kind of certificate you got. It ain't worth a crap because I've seen the way you do stuff. And I don't care what kind of classes you had because they didn't teach you what master gardener classes with my extension office teaches. Because my garden ain't full of weeds. Weeds mean competition for water and nutrients for the plants that I'm growing. I don't know where you came from, but that's not the way it works at my house. Weeds got to go. And I don't use hay for mulch because hay got grass seeds all in it, and I ain't fixing to fight that in my garden because I had to kill it to get the garden started. I ain't going back to it. And I'll still be killing it this year. I'm not totally organic. I've used Roundup to kill the stuff that's out there because with my back, I ain't got time for all that bullshit of hoeing. And it takes 5 years to hoe all that crabgrass, Bermuda grass out of there anyway, because if you don't get the whole damn root, the thing comes back. So why not just go ahead and kill the damn thing and be done with it? After this year, I don't have to use Roundup anymore. And the only place I use Roundup other than my garden is I use a cocktail of Roundup, atrazine, and 2,4-D on my fence row. That way, whatever's under the fence don't grow. And I don't have to worry about my electric fence grounding out or tearing up a weed whacker or a fence by trying to weed eat around the damn thing. I ain't about all that. And as far as pesticides go, I'll use Sevin, I'll use malathion, I'll use permethrin up until the point that the fruit starts to set. And then I'll use the organic stuff because pyrethrin costs a hell of a lot of damn money. I mean, it's almost $200 a damn gallon. Permethrin is $30 a gallon. So I'll use the synthetic stuff. And then when the fruit sets, I'll go to the organic stuff because I don't have to use as much that way and I can save money. But I'm all about having something that ain't eat up by bugs and having a good crop. So Rose can have her totally organic stuff. She can have all the little holes and bug stings all over her peas and beans all she wants. I ain't doing it. She can have them corn earworms. I ain't doing it. Mm-mm. And I guarantee you, at the end of the day, my pesticide level will not have any more in it than hers does. And I'll have better produce and better production. And Cat, if you sharpen your claws on my chair one more time, all right now, we done had that discussion too. You get in trouble for that. Don't do it. I'll get the spray bottle. He hates that spray bottle. Because I'll hold it beside me and he'll forget I got it and he'll reach down and he'll start to scratch and sharpen his claws on the furniture and then squeak right in the back of the head or right in the ear. Ooh, we can't stand that. Or if he's close enough, I'll turn it to mist and get his whole face. Drives him up the wall. Oh, let me go check my chicken and my tater. Looking pretty good. Oven's off. So about another hour and a half, it'll be cooled off just enough. Oh yeah, that sweet tater with the butter, that'll get eaten before that chicken does, I promise you. And it's the sweet tater that's it's probably 2 pounds. About yay long and about that big around. Yeah, my daddy knows how to grow sweet taters. And I got two of them out there started, and slips are starting to come up on them. I don't know what variety he's planted this same variety for several years. He used to grow the Puerto Ricans, but he got away from that and went to Georgia Jet. And I'm not sure if that's what he's still growing or not. I got to ask him because I want to know what variety it is because I'm planting slips off of his potatoes this year because they are some sweet potatoes. I'm talking about really sweet. But then again, my dad's been doing this since he was born in '33. So from the time he was 4 or 5 years old, that was when his childhood ended and work started. So he's been gardening for over 80 years. And he worked with the federal government in the Natural Resources Conservation Reserve Program, the NRCS or whatever it is that Roots and Refuge got their grant from to do their greenhouse thing. Those are the people he worked with. And he did terraces and field drainage, designed ponds and lakes and stuff like that for the government for many years. When Mount St. Helens erupted and blew up, they offered him the job to move the whole family out to Washington and him to oversee replanting the trees on that mountain. He was the first person they offered that job to, and he turned them down. He didn't want to leave home. He was born, raised, and still lives within a mile of where he was born. But that man knows how to grow, and that's where I learned how to grow. And he is. Let's put it this way: I actually watched him read a greenback stamp when they used to give away greenback stamps at the grocery store. That should tell you how much he reads. And he has always got kind of educational magazine or book, whether or not be his pesticide use manual and that pesticide use and application manual, uh, the modern book of pills and medicine, something educational is always on the table beside his chair for him to read. So he knows Danny might be the sweet potato king on YouTube. He ain't got shit on my daddy. My daddy knows down to the T exactly how much nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, then down to the trace elements magnesium, calcium, sulfur, manganese, all of that any plant he grows needs. He knows it. I've never seen anybody grow a garden like him. I can't even grow a garden like him. And I'm a hell of a lot better than most of them I see on TV. The only one that comes close to me is Danny at Roots and Refuge. The rest of them, uh-uh. And I ain't even going to try this year. This year is just I'm trying to get by, and that's it. Because I got so much stuff going on. So it'll be half-assed done. But if I had the time to put into it like my dad does, man, I could make a ton of money selling what I don't need. But I've got a lot of work to do on my soil before I'm in that spot because he's been gardening in the same place. Browntown Fishing, hey, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Was just talking about where I learned how to garden from my dad and how I wished I could grow half as well as him because he makes everybody on YouTube look pathetic with their gardens. His produces 3 times more than theirs. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Browntown. Well, I guess that was a flyby because he's gone now. Man, I got all excited for nothing. My heart hurts. I feel let down. I think I'm going to cry. He didn't even hit the thumbs up button. Oh no. Oh well, I'm over it now. Oh man. Sometimes I crack myself up. And when I do, I usually fall to pieces. Oh, he's back. But it's not showing you on my screen. And it's not showing your thumbs up neither. You're incognito. That's what it is. You're flying under the radar. But knowing how to grow, the only way you'll know how to grow if you don't have a teacher is to just start. Just read the back of the package of seeds, follow the directions, and if it don't work exactly the way you want it to that time, you know next time change it. That's the thing with gardening. What works this year may not work next year, so you got to anticipate having to rethink things and change them up. Gardening is just like being a doctor. Doctors practice medicine, and I've never understood that because I don't want to go to somebody practicing to fix me. It don't make sense. I want to go to somebody that knows how to fix me, not practice. I want the real thing. But gardening is the same as that. You got to practice that. So just, you don't have a place where you can actually grow in ground. Get you a few containers. Grow you some tomato plants on the porch. Grow you some squash plants on the porch. Just anything. That's right. Soil is key. You are not feeding a plant. You are feeding the soil. If you take care of the soil will take care of the plant. That is the main thing. And it's all about organic matter. The more organic matter you have, the better that soil is going to be, the richer it'll be, the better that plant and the healthier that plant's going to be. And if that plant is healthy, that plant's going to produce way more than an unhealthy plant in bad soil. Right now, I'm working in bad soil, and I'm doing as much as I can to improve it as fast as I can. But over time, it's going to get better, and I'll have a lot better results. And the way I look at it is, 'cause I'm working on the soil. The plants are second. And it works out great. I mean, I've got 45, 50 chickens. So all of that they poop out, it goes in the garden under my plants. They grow green. I buy bag manure. It helps out. I'm not totally organic. I use some regular pesticides and I use commercial fertilizer. I won't lie. But I produce a lot more than the organic people, and my produce looks a lot better than theirs too. But I don't use pesticides on my produce while it's growing. I'll switch from synthetic over to organic whenever it starts to fruit. And I've got a pond beside the house that whenever it's time to plant my tomato plants that I have in cups over here outside, I'll be down at the pond and I'll be Browntown fishing for however many tomatoes I have. And the fish goes up under each one. Yep, Virginia's right. Compost everything. Most people don't put the glossy paper in their compost, but personally, I don't give a damn. My compost pile is eat up with worms, and the worms go through the paper and they eat it. So it's going through a worm anyhow. There's bacteria in their gut that will take care of all that. I don't care about whether or not the paper's glossy. Doesn't bother me a bit. If it is organic and non-plastic, it either goes to the chickens, the hog, or straight to the compost pile, depending on what it is. And my compost pile isn't very big because most of it goes to the chickens or the hogs. Grass clippings go to the chickens when I mow the grass. Food scraps, depending on what it is, which I don't have many food scraps because it's just me by myself, but food scraps go to the hog and the chickens, so it's all recycled one way or another. And it all winds up back in the garden in one way or another. Because whenever this garden plot needs to rest, where I've got the goats and the hog, part of that will turn into the garden plot. And I'll just rotate it around, and it's just a cycle. But once you learn the basics, after that, it's just trial and error till you get a system down that works for you, and then you're producing stuff that is better quality than what you buy at the grocery store. It doesn't cost you near as much and a whole lot more nutritious. All right, Virginia. Good night to you, and I will definitely do some more goat videos. Maybe this time she won't be blowing in my ear like a woman. But Billy Two Udders, she seems to be the star of the show. Everybody seems to like her. I got to admit, she is my favorite out of the three of them because she's got personality. Way more personality than she needs sometimes because she's hard headed. Just like living with a 3-year-old all over again. So, Browntown, you still with us? Or with me? Because I think once Virginia's gone, that is everybody because Mimsy has just left it on while she goes to do other things. And Virginia's fixing to go to bed. And if you're still there, it's just me and you, buddy. We can talk about whatever you want to. If you want some advice on gardening, then I will definitely do the best that I can. 'Cause I think everybody ought to at least grow something, because stuff at the grocery store just does not have as much nutrients as the stuff you grow yourself. They grow it for presentation and fast production. They don't grow it to be nutritious. They grow it to catch your eye and to get it out in their field as fast as possible. Good night, Virginia. God bless you too. And I will definitely start leaving more of the live stream reminders up so you guys get them in your notifications before I go online. And once I go live, you guys might not have already known about it, so you wouldn't be expecting it. So I'll try and do 2 notifications on those days that I do live streams. That way you're bound to catch it. So Browntown, if you're still there, do you have a channel where you post any videos? I got another fella. He's a teenager more than likely, called ASAP Fishing. He watches it every once in a while, and he was amazed the other day. He was using a trout lure and was catching some nice 1 to 2 pound bass off of it. And the trout lure was probably 3 inches long. And trout and bass don't normally inhabit the same water because they compete for the same bait fish and stuff. But I guess he didn't realize that being in a pond, bass have never seen a trout, so to them it's just a bait fish swimming by. And he was amazed. He was catching fish off of that thing, and he was catching some nice ones. I got to admit, granted, it was a pond, and bass are easier to catch in a small pond than they are in a big lake or a river. But he keeps it up. He could actually go pro, because in a 10-minute video, he caught 5 or 6. All of them were a pound to 2 pounds apiece. Nice bass. Oh man, my heart's broken again. Browntown left. He's probably still incognito. But if you are there, I would like to know if you got any videos posted, or or anything like that. Because if so, I check the channel out because I got a pond by the house and I enjoy fishing myself, and I might learn something from you. Because I'm pretty much old school fishing whenever it comes to fishing. I've got rods and reels, but I'll grab a cane pole and dig up some worms and go fishing with that before I do. And I used to own a bait and tackle shop. I don't even use artificial stuff. If it's not a worm or a cricket, more than likely I'm not going fishing without it. That's just how I am. I fish with that stuff. I don't catch a whole lot of bass. I do catch a few, but not many. But I mostly go catfishing. I'd rather have catfish than just about any other freshwater fish there is, other than trout. Which where I live, we don't have walleye, so I can't attest to the way that tastes. And pike only get about that long. We don't have very big pike either, so I know people who do eat them, but how many fish that long do you have to have per person? So if I catch a pike, I throw it back. It's not like pike they got up north to get to be 20 and 30 pounds. But I'm not a big fan of bluegill or red breast or anything like that. They're just dark meat. No, I'm not. I'm not into dark freshwater fish. I like the white meat, like catfish, and I'll fillet the right size bass out. Too big, they're not good. Too small, they're not good. But other than that, if I eat fish, it's saltwater. But I do a pretty good bit of fishing because I use the fish to go under my tomato plants and stuff like that. If I've got the time and I'm planting corn and I can go out and catch me 40 or 50 bluegill in a day, I'll go out and catch 40 or 50 bluegill and I'll dig the trench deep enough that I can put the bluegill down, cover them up, then plant on top of them, and then cover the seed up and use that as fertilizer. Because, man, you talking about some good fertilizer? That's the shizzle. Ain't nothing like a dead fish for fertilizer. I'll sit here a little while longer because Virginia and Mimsy are still in. So, hey, it's counting toward watch time. I'm almost at 200 hours now, so I'm going to take every second I can get. If anybody is there, I'll be right back. If anybody shows up while I'm gone, stay right there. What? You didn't get nothing to eat. Oh, now we're down to one. Must be Nimsy. Still showing 3 here. Easy boy, I wish he would just whip his ass one time and get it over with. He thinks he can do anything you can do, and he is not the special one. You are the king's chosen one. Best cat I ever had right here. Easy boy, you're gonna get some chicken tonight. I know you've been waiting on leftovers. You've been trying that kibble for days now, and I know you don't like it, but it's healthier for you than people food. That's why you don't get it very often. Easy boy, you want me to get the spray bottle out and get him? Well, in 5 minutes we'll hit the 2 hour mark. And let's see how many participants. I'm showing one on the people, but the list is showing two. And I know Virginia went to bed. I believe she is also watching from a mobile device, which she said she had to get another battery. So hers Doris probably went to sleep, and the only reason why she is still listening is because she's been commenting. I'm not really sure how the live stream works. Once I know it still counts as watch time if you're watching, but as far as showing up in the participants list, I know you've got to comment every so often. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. And to tell you the truth, really don't care. Just wanting to get to the point that I'm monetized and I make a few dollars a month off of this. I'm not young. I'm not pretty. I'm never going to be young and pretty again. So I'm not the handsome Justin Rhodes. He's going to have almost 500,000 people follow me. I'm not the beautiful Jess from Roots and Refuge. It's going to have 70,000 people subscribe to her right after her mother-in-law passed away, because she was at 45, 47,000 then, and that's whenever I found her, and she was off YouTube for about a month and a half, and then came back, and then bam, now she's over 100-something thousand, and that's been since September. So people ask her to go speak at events and stuff, but yet Danny and Wanda were at 40-something thousand when I started watching them over a year ago, and they just hit 60. But yet they're the ones with the knowledge. They're the ones that know how to do stuff. But people would rather watch the young, pretty ones. Like, hey, it's a good life. Don't get me wrong. Nabby's a smart woman. She's ambitious, and I give her a lot of credit for even trying to grow her own food. And I hope she does well, and I hope she learns a lot, and I hope she gets to the point that she does grow most of her own food. But that's what people want to see. I subbed her channel when she had 40-something people. I had 115. I've got 124 now. She's got almost 900. It's what you look like. It's not what knowledge you have that counts on YouTube. It's what the fuck you look like. And that's a damn shame that people don't care about knowledge. They care about looks. They care about vanity more than they care about information. I don't understand it. You'll listen to these people. VW Farm, they got mentioned by Roots and Refuge too. And they've jumped up there to over almost 2,000 people. They started their channel after I started mine, or right around the same time, maybe a little bit before, but they're close. It's all about how old you are. It's just like going back to the hippies in the 60s. Don't trust anyone over 30. Once you're over 30, nobody gives a damn about you anymore. And in 15 seconds, we hit the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to finish this cigarette, and then I'm going to call it. Because I want to watch some people on YouTube make fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because that's who people want to see on YouTube. People like her. We're going to change the world. No, fuck, you're not. The only thing you need to worry about changing is your damn self. Be a good person. Don't be wasteful. Don't blow your money on shit you don't need. And don't follow anyone's advice because they're the same age as you and they're doing something like Out in the Country. Another channel that I can't stand. They're dumb as hell, don't know what they're doing. And then if you give them any advice and one of their loyal followers thinks you're being critical, they jump down your throat. I'm sorry. Sorry I hurt your fucking feelings, Snowflake. You're an idiot. You got 10 acres. Now you got a mule. Reparations have been paid. And you got a pony. A pony is a horse and a mule is an ass. That makes you a horse's ass. Because you won't listen to what someone older than you has got to say. You won't listen to advice from someone who's been there. For someone who's like me, who's been there and was brought up doing this. I'm like Danny from Deep South Homestead. I grew up doing this. I know this. And anything I do, 9 times out of 10, it's better than anything you see on this damn channel. And what I show you on my channel ain't the best I can do. Pure Life for Living, they're fucking idiots. Wrangler Star, I got a star you can wrangle after you comb your damn toupee. He's a fucking idiot too, and he's fake. Anyway, enough of my rant tonight. The folks who did show up, I appreciate those 3 people. Maybe one day, one of these young people will see my channel and they'll say, gee, maybe he does know what he's talking about. Because the only person who's giving me a shout out is Danny and Wonder the first time, and Jeff at Bobblehead Homestead. No one else is giving me a shout out. So the rest of them, until the time I'm acknowledged by the community and not relegated to the fringes, kiss my ass.